Welcome back. It's your boy Carcino here. And here we go. As I tried to tell many people before who didn't believe me, and now they know I was right. I've never had a conversation with Marcellus Wiley, as Marcellus Wiley decided to break his own silence on this situation. People get to hear from him now since he was eligible to be bonded out as he went before a judge. And this is just horrible. It's horrible for the kids more than anybody. And another human being to have to endure this, a Black woman doing this to a Black man. Now, you can have your opinions on it, you can have your beliefs on it, and that's fine. No one's going to say you have to believe the narratives that we say. You have to go along with what we believe. It's up to you which direction you want to go in. No one's forcing you to say this person's right or that person is wrong. No one is ever going to do that. But looking at what's been presented as facts or some background information to this, you're looking at a situation that was starting to turn ugly. And just looking at it, I never had a conversation again with Marcellus Wiley. But yet Marcellus Wiley said exactly what I said without even having a conversation with him. So two people, I'm on the outside. I don't know what's going on in their bedroom. But when I told you what was going on and what I thought, based on the information I seen that was out there, this man said the exact same things when he made his statement. So without further ado, let's get to Marcellus Wiley's statements, because I want you guys to understand clearly that we're fair here, and there's no agenda behind it whatsoever. And we're just doing, the work the right way, the way it's supposed to go. So as we try to get people's attention and get to a level where they would understand situations, however they perform or they are to be laid out, right? Now, here's that situation. Sorry about that. Here's the situation. So Marcellus Wiley and his wife had an incident out in Orlando, and we all know that she accused him of poking her in the face, which led to the arrest. Then she started coming out and accusing him of R-wording her back in 2012. And said in 2012, he had did some things to her. Now, remember, they got married in 2014. So she said he R-worded her in 2012 and tried to sleep with two of her friends in 2012. Well, if that was the case, why would you be with this? Why would you be married to him 2 years later? Look, let's get to what he had to say about this after he made bond. I'm just telling you everything that she said, in the situation, saying he R-worded her and beat her, have a history of putting his hands on her. He says everything she has said has been flat out false. Annemarie Wiley filed for divorce and obtained a temporary restraining order against him, keeping him out of the house. So he went on Twitter to address the accusations. He said, "I love my children with everything I am. My highest priority has been protecting them and preserving the relationships they have with both their parents." Now, he says, because of all of these public allegations made against me by Annemarie, I have been forced to respond with evidence rather than emotion. More importantly, I owe it to my children to be truthful and truthfully document what they have you know, what they and I have endured. So he's basically saying the kids have gone through this too. He says that his wife cursed him with a voodoo spell. Serious and damaging parenting failures. And that she was kicked off the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and she lost her mind. That's what we talked about, right? Remember, I told you how that show played a big part when she got fired and they told her her services weren't needed. And this was basically centered around her husband, his conservative. And y'all was, how you gonna blame the left for this? Okay. He also said he never wanted his family struggles to become public. I never wanted my family issues to struggles to become public for any reason, including divorce leverage. But I unfortunately knew this day was inevitable. He says his statement comes after the judge gave her the domestic violence temporary restraining order. Under the order, Wiley must have no contact with Annemarie, stay away from her and their 3 children, move out of the family Encino home, and for now will have no visitation while she has temporary sole custody. Right? And as everybody reported, with Marcellus Wiley and his suspicion of this domestic thing became physical over the weekend, that this was a continuing escalating pattern of violence and sexual abuse, verbal and emotional, financial control and intimidation. And said he punched me in my face and gave me a black eye and he R-worded me in 2012. None of these things seem to be consistent with how this lady was moving. It seems to be corroborated because now these so-called college sexual assault victims alleged are using his wife's claims against him as they're all like teaming up to do this hit piece on Marcellus Wiley's character. And I am not about tearing down a black man's character, especially when there's been no signs that this character exists. Because other people would have said, hey, I seen this guy was unhinged, this guy has done this and that. Now he could be one guy in public and a whole nother guy behind closed doors, but there would have been many more people to come forward and say that about this guy. And then your actions have been quite, shaky. So Acho, who used to work with him, came forth and said, hey, we got some information here. He said she took a trip over to Nigeria. And Acho is Nigerian and said she was getting quite cozy with a Nigerian man. And someone recorded her and said, hey, ain't this your friend's wife? And sent that over to Emmanuel Acho. So Emmanuel Acho has the tape. So he claims. But Emmanuel Acho said he has the tape. Now, this is going to coincide with another situation that I know that we'll be talking about only on Patreon. Okay, so if you're my Casino for Life Patreon member, you know where we're about to go with this, probably already. So for the rest of you, we will stay PG here, and we'll get more into what he was talking about, meaning Emmanuel Acho. and what he was bringing. Now, Acho and Marcellus Wiley are not friends. They're former colleagues. They used to work together at Fox, but they're not friends. By any imagination, don't believe that they're friends. Okay. He kind of feels Acho stabbed him in the back to get his own show. Now, when you look at the whole, you know, how this whole thing is playing out in the public eye, you start to see some things that you don't agree with. Yes, he put out a statement for the rest of us to see. Marcellus Wiley. He said, "I'm deeply grateful for all the love, prayers, and concern for me and my my itty bitties. Your support is fully appreciated. I completely and unequivocally deny these allegations, and I'm certain the truth will prevail. As you know, I'm usually the first to break down the truth and separate the facts from fiction. But because this is a legal matter and because my greatest responsibility is protecting my babies who have already been impacted, I have to handle this differently. When I can speak freely, I absolutely will. Until then, thank you for your patience, your prayers, and continuing to stand with me. Much love, BWA." So that's what he said to his YouTube followers, right? So now you have a situation that's getting ready to worsen. And the reason it's getting ready to worsen is because someone's already not playing fair. They're playing like an agenda game, and you can see it. I never liked agendas. I never liked those type of games. Well, now there's a pivot. So I'm glad you brought that up. But there is a pivot where situations are going to change. Might not be for the worse, but there's going to be a change and a shift here. But there's obvious when her pockets are being lined by a pretty much left dominated company, left dominated people. Elections are coming up. Marcellus Wiley has a lot of influence, being a conservative male in the community, doing things, even though he's been pretty much fair. Uh, you have a party that is heavily against a lot of the things that he implements or employ or push people towards. So they're always going to be grading him on a slant rather than on the scale that he should have been. Well, when you go into that level of like what it is or what it should be, Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what. First of all, let's go through this before I go to my Patreon and I'm going to address this. Let me just put out the full response of what he said. So the rest will all be on my Patreon as this thing is finna blow up. Let me take myself off the screen. Let's start off with the beginning. I love my children with everything I am. My highest priority has always been protecting them and preserving the relationship they have with both of their parents. Because of the public allegations made against me by Annemarie, I've been forced to respond with evidence rather than emotion. But importantly, or more importantly, I owe it to my children to truthfully document what they and I have endured. To do that, I must address the lies Annemarie has told about me by telling the truth about her and our marriage. Over the years, I have compiled videos, photographs, text messages, emails, and other evidence that directly contradicts those baseless claims and provides a factual record of our family and events leading to this unfortunate divorce. That record includes evidence of Anne-Marie's repeated infidelity, including an affair with her pregnant friend's husband, serious and damaging parenting failures, a voodoo spell she cursed over my family, as well as fans she claimed hated her from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, along with many other unflattering documented events. To be frank, many friends, family members, and fans have opinion that after she was kicked off the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she lost her mind. Oh, thank you for including me as a fan. Unfortunately, I must agree. See? Told you. When Carcino's right, he's right. I never wanted my family issues and struggles to become public for any reason, including divorce leverage, but I unfortunately knew this day was inevitable. I was willing to endure anything, even hell itself, if it meant being with my children every single day. I am their hero, and now I'm fighting to make sure the positive and real image they know of me is that ones that endure. I'm prepared to address these allegations and related matters through the legal process with evidence. My focus remain on my children, my integrity, and the truth. Thank you for understanding. That's it. That's the man right there. Marcellus Wiley, that dude. You ain't gotta like him. Like DL Hewley don't like him. Hell, I don't like DL Hewley sometimes. And Acho says this. Now, we're going to go to the evidence that I have occurred. And that's going to be on the Patreon early because Annemarie is not suing me. So, so for everybody out there who don't see though, and y'all VIP Patreon, guess what? Today is your day. Get ready. Get ready. Because here we come. I'm out.